Welcome back to the channel. This is FRUK Rugby, not only the home now of Pro D2 Rugby, the barrage, the semi-finals, the final, and coverage of Pro D2 all next year here on FRUK Rugby. The rumours are true, can confirm it. We're absolutely buzzing about it, and it's completely for free. Unlike
Hang on, free.
It's free, Joe.
We're charging nothing.
We're charging nothing, no.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
It's unheard of, isn't it? Free to air rugby. I thought that was a thing of the past. But here we are. Not only the home of Pro D2 Rugby, and join us for that and hit subscribe on the channel if you appreciate that fact, but also just Francophiles here, lovers of all things French rugby. Joe is a coach there at Brive, and he's been in France for the last 10 years. What there is to know about French rugby that Joe doesn't know isn't worth knowing. So let's talk about the Champions Cup final and Bordeaux trying to make history and get their first star above their crest. It's their first final. And you've probably got a sense of what it's like in Bordeaux just from, what you're seeing on the coverage on the news and the rugby universe over there. What's it like?
Yeah, it's such a passionate rugby town, rugby city. The club was a fusion of the two clubs about 20 years ago. They fused the two clubs, the main clubs in Bordeaux, and created one club, UBB, Bordeaux and Bègles. Now, it's gone from strength to strength, and it's just amazing. I joined them back in 2012, and I spent 7 years there, 7 wonderful years. So I got a real soft spot for that club, a love for that club. And the city is so excited about it. Everyone's talking about it. They sold in 5 minutes, they sold 20,000 places at the big square in town for the big screen and the festivities around that. People are very excited about what's coming their way this weekend. I mean, they had one final they made last year, and we all know what happened there. They had a few injuries. They limped into it and got absolutely stuffed by a wonderful Toulouse team. Now, this is different. This is a very different affair. The players are all pretty much, everybody's fit and raring to go. And they're going to play Northampton, a very different team to Toulouse.
Penno's definitely out, right?
Yeah, I think he's the one kind of player you think were he playing, it would be even more special.
Yeah. I mean, Northampton have got some injury concerns themselves. Bordeaux will go into this favourites. Like you say, they were in a top 14 final last year and were the slight underdogs. Well, they were the underdogs, didn't handle the pressure very well. I mean, you've been in finals. I can't remember now, Joe, whether you were heavy favourites or underdogs in any of those Heineken Cup finals.
Been both in. I think Toulouse Wasps we were very much underdogs, and then maybe favourites against Leicester in that European Cup final, the second one. Now, it's more about your experience of them. I mean, I lost my first ever final, and I was fortunate enough after with Wasps to win 10 in it. We didn't lose again after that. So that first final, I still got burnt on my mind. Experience the final is important. You've got to just play like you've always played, yet front up on a day when the pressure comes on. And some players with that extra pressure will step back, maybe not go forward and take the ball and be as dominant as they might be normally. So you need to make sure that your team is capable of, A, carrying on doing what they've been doing all year that got them there, but B, don't let that pressure on the day result in players that aren't quite as fast thinking and fast acting as normal because they're worried about the pressure of the day.
Yeah, well, maybe the thoughts. If you won 10, but the one that you lost still burns in your mind, imagine how fired up Bordeaux are going to be after getting absolutely pumped by Toulouse in that top 14 final.
Honestly, I think that's given them so much motivation this year to be better. I mean, they are, I think, favourites. So whilst that motivation is going to be really important, it's the first big final second big final they've had. They got absolutely pumped in the first one. I think they're going to turn up and flying.
The roof, I think, is going to be on. So whatever the weather, although the weather in the UK has been lovely recently, but whatever the weather, I think we're going to have dry conditions. But two teams that are very, very comfortable in transitions on turnover ball from kick return. I know Bordeaux kick long. But could that play into Northampton's hands a little bit? How do you see tactically this one going?
Bordeaux are a very different team to Leinster. They're a team that are happier to hold on to the ball. They got Tatafu back, Falatau is back fully fit. So they've got players who can carry the ball quite well as well. to create fast balls. So they've got a couple of guys back who they didn't have 6 weeks ago. So that's really going to help their ability to maintain their attacking and long sequences of play as well. But yes, in the transitions, that's where they really kill you. Against Toulouse, like twice in the game, off a kick-off mistake from Toulouse and off a turnover, they just ripped them open from depth. And that is where they're dangerous. Northampton, we saw against Leinster, are a team that also, if you make a mistake, if someone doesn't work and leaves a hole on a kick chase, then you're screwed. If someone doesn't work and leaves an interval near a ruck, bam, they're through it. So again, that's a team who is capable of scoring out the blue as well. But remember, I come back to that fact about that semi-final against Leinster was 20 entries for Leinster, 20 against, I think, 7 for Northampton. The difference was staggering. Northampton just putting in innings to stop Leinster in their 22 that many times. Bordeaux are a more dangerous team. Bordeaux's probably going to give Northampton more entries than 7. Might give them 10. But on the flip side, if you give Bordeaux 20 entries, you're going to pay heavily for that. So they're going to have to make sure they wind their neck in there. But Bordeaux's kicking game's not that bad. It's not quite the levels of that Leinster team, that reliance on pressure game, kicking, territory, defence. It's probably not quite at that level, but again, it's not bad. You've got Luku and Jalibert and Burros who can kick the ball a bloody mile. They're incredible kickers, and with those guys in the team, you're always going to be quite good in the kick battles. So that game's going to pan out a bit differently to the Leinster Northampton semi, I think.
Yeah, one other game that I think of is England against France at Twickenham. And we've seen Tommy Freeman opposite Louis Bielbiere getting some really good change out of bombs being dropped on Le Beep Beep. And I mean, that stands out as maybe one area. But you've talked up Romain Burros as one of the rare, brilliant aerial French fullbacks.
I think hopefully we'll paint on, if there's time, a clip of Burros winning a kick last weekend. An incredible catch. That resulted in the try afterwards. Let's paint that one on, and then you'll see what I mean about this guy. He's amazing in the air.
Yeah, so I think Burros can diffuse some of those bombs which France weren't able to back in March. I think we've seen Saints throw their shots. I'm sure they'll go into it and they'll throw a few, and they're capable on any given Sunday and all that. When you go through those stats, as you already have, the number of entries, the number of times Leinster could have and should have, I just don't see Bordeaux leaving that many opportunities out there.
Yeah, I mean, how many injured? Well, who's injured? Pollock was a slight doubt, wasn't he? And
so Furbank looks like he's out. You've got Slight Holmes out injured currently. There was an injury to James Ram as well in the back three at the weekend. I don't know whether he's available or not. We'll wait and see. So there's 3 significant ones right there in the back line. They do have Mitchell, Finn Smith, Tommy Freeman, Fraser Dingwall's been great. There's 4 kind of cohesive lads that have come through the club together. And, other guys have been slotting in and doing a good job. And what they do have, and we saw this against Leinster, and you can speak to just how important this is. They do 100% have those intangibles that you can't put a value on. You can talk about how good a player is or whatever, but whatever they have bubbling in that group, the atmosphere, the energy, that is. I mean, you tell me how much. I can only speak from the level of rugby I played at, and it was important there. I think it probably is at every level, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah, I think obviously they'll be really disappointed with their domestic season, and this is everything going to be running on this one game. It's been like that for, I suppose, the quarterfinal was quite an easy win against. It was quite an easy win in the end. But anyway, the semi was just a result of a team that was super motivated to win, and the effort they put in to stop a Leinster team from scoring with that many entries is phenomenal. The work they did was phenomenal. So they'll be looking to replicate that against this Bordeaux side. That level of engagement, the level of commitment, the level of work rate, that's more than what Bordeaux can bring. Will be probably their number one thing to go for. And behind that, if enough opportunities drop for them, if those kicks drop in the way they did when it fell into the number 8's hands and they scored that try, those things happen. Yeah, they got a chance of winning.
Yeah, the last 3 years of finals, they've been painful for Leinster, but they've been so good. the finals have just been such high quality. And actually, we were there in the Tottenham Stadium. I don't think I've seen, or I can't think of many better club games of rugby I've ever watched than Leinster against Toulouse. So I'm just hoping we get a great game. I'm sure we will. And so being a Bordeaux alumni, is there any WhatsApp groups or anything you're in there? I know you're in a ex-Wasps group. Is there any, what contact do you still have with guys? And are you chatting about it with some of your old?
Whenever in Bordeaux, I'd drop in and say hi. Eat a load of their food. They got a great chef up in their training ground. And then let's just stay in touch when I see them. Really, it's not the Wasps is slightly different. The people you play rugby with, you learn. One of the reasons I love rugby, you love rugby, and people watching this love rugby is when you play it, you have a bond with people that's unlike anything else in life. And the reason those Wasps players and that Legends group are so tight and so close still, and so sad about what's happened, is because those bonds we made when we did some pretty amazing stuff together, or just going through the shitty times as well together. Yeah, I'm still very much in touch with the Border guys, but it's not quite the same level as that Wasp team.
Well, it's either going to be the first Northampton Heineken Cup or Champions Cup in 25 years, or it's going to be a first ever for Bordeaux. There's going to be some memories made, and there's going to be some lifelong bonds that are going to be forged on Saturday, whichever way it goes. So yeah, enjoy the rugby. We'll see you for Pro de Deux Rugby, free here on FRUK.